Now, when we discussed about the concept of drugs, we classified the concept. All this is what we had learned last time. I'm just making a flow chart, and we are, mind you, revising it. We are summarizing it. One of the largest categories and one of the oldest categories of drugs come from the latex of your poppy plant. You know, the poppy plant, which is also called as Papaver somniferum. Papaver somniferum, that is the poppy plant, is responsible for giving this category of drugs. We call them as opioids. They are also called as opiates. The common thing is all of them come from the same plant. The latex, that is the liquid from Papaver somniferum. The original latex, what you get is opium. Opium gets modified into various other categories. The common thing about all of these opiates is that they are responsible for acting on the central nervous system. And that is why the symptoms under that would be slowing down of the central nervous system. That's why opiates act as depressants, they act as sedatives. And that is why one of the problems with these drug addicts is loss of interest in work, weakness. Another problem is that the opioids are also responsible for acting on the gastrointestinal tract, and gastrointestinal tract would lead to loss of appetite. That's why loss of weight is another symptom which we'll see in these individuals. Loss of weight, loss of interest in any work are the general problems what you see in these addicts. Anyways, so opioids are opioids, or we can call them as opiates, are responsible for acting on the central nervous system as well as the gastrointestinal tract. Opium is the main extract which can be modified to form morphine, heroin, brown sugar, codeine, etc. Codeine and all all opium extract. We've learned codeine, I'm not elaborating, it's found in cough syrups. Morphine, we have learned, is a very strong painkiller. It is an analgesic. I've told you about the soldiers carrying morphine. So morphine is medicinally also used for people who have undergone surgery, because it is an analgesic, it is a painkiller along with a sedative. We've learned that modification leads to heroin. It is diacetyl morphine, and heroin is even more dangerous because heroin is very, very we should say very, very strong as a drug, in the sense it creates very strong craving. Plus heroin being injectable. Why do heroin, apart from being injectable, is also found in the as a white odorless crystalline powder, and this white odorless crystalline powder is also snorted, taken through the nose. I say that it is snorted, but it's not commonly how heroin is taken. The commonest mode by which heroin is taken is by injection, causing the risk of AIDS, causing the risk of hepatitis B. The cruder version of heroin is brown sugar. Brown sugar is diacetyl morphine hydrochloride. Diacetyl morphine hydrochloride. It's a cruder version of heroin, not as strong as heroin, but definitely stronger than morphine. So if I go to see, codeine is a diluted version of opium. If I have to make a scale, I'll say codeine, then opium, then morphine, then brown sugar, then heroin, with regards to its strength, with regards to effectiveness. Mildest would be codeine because it's a kind of diluted version of opium. Then comes morphine, then comes the strongest would be heroin, and brown sugar is the crude version of heroin, so it's stronger than morphine if you get it. So on a scale, this would be the weakest, this would be next, this would be next, this would be next, and the strongest would be heroin. That's why heroin produces a very strong craving. That's always the problem with drugs. The drugs basically will be binding to receptors of your body, and gradually your receptors get used to a particular amount, and that's always the problem of drug addiction. Not the dosage, the absence of the dosage and the requirement of the dosage. That's the problem with this, and we call it as dependence. When I say we are suffering from drug dependence, is because the body now is dependent on the presence of that chemical to function. When I say we have developed drug dependence, means the absence of that drug is going to cause severe problems. You call them as withdrawal symptoms. So a person may develop shivering, the person may develop nausea, the person may develop vomiting, the person develops loss of appetite, person develops anxiety, person feels low, depression. In anxiety and depression, I will call it as mental dependence, nausea, vomiting, shivering, tremors. I will call it as physical dependence. So you have physical dependence as well as mental dependence which develop because of the drugs. Plus, as I told you, the receptors get used to the drug, so the dosage required every time keeps on increasing. That's the problem with all these drugs. What are there? Same thing is with sedatives. Sedatives, we've learned, are sleeping pills. Chemicals like barbiturates. Barbiturates and benzodiazepines are chemicals which are used in your normal sleeping pills. Also, people who have insomnia. We've learned about the example of Michael Jackson. We've learned how the amount of dosage required by the person keeps on increasing. So sedatives is a second category which are medicinally commonly used. Mind you, if you take a substance for a medical usage, if you take a substance because it has been prescribed to you, that's fine. When you do a non-medical use of a substance, that's when you call it as dependence. That's when you call it as addiction. The exact opposite of sedatives we've learned would be stimulants. Stimulants are those which are responsible for increasing the activity of the nervous system. I told you about caffeine, which is present in your coffee. I've told you this. I've told you about amphetamines, the Superman drug. Mind you, amphetamines were also used medically. Amphetamines were also used as medicine as a treatment for depression. Amphetamines was also used in medicine for the treatment of depression. So caffeine and amphetamines come under a category of stimulants. Even cocaine in that way is a stimulant, mind you. Even cocaine is a stimulant, but cocaine is a very large category of drug, one of the most abused drug. That's why I've kept cocaine as a separate category. Because one of its effect is stimulant, but it has other effects also. Now, cocaine is basically, cocaine is basically obtained from a plant which is called as erythroxylon coca. We learned the coca plant. So it's a coca alkaloid. Cocaine, we learned, is responsible for interfering with the action of dopamine. We've done this. And cocaine is a stimulant. Cocaine basically is responsible for increasing the activity of the nervous system, boosting the nervous system. It is also responsible for creating euphoria. Euphoria is in a sense of trance. Euphoria is in a sense of happiness, a sense of satisfaction. Now, I am not promoting that cocaine is good to create satisfaction. I've told you this. The problem is when you don't get cocaine. The problem is when you don't get cocaine, you go to a crash. When you don't get cocaine, you suffer from dependence. Mind you, cocaine does not create physical dependence. Always remember, cocaine has no physical dependence. A person who is developing withdrawal from cocaine would have mental problems. Anxiety, depression, feeling low, lethargy, does not feel like anything, does not feel like doing anything. Cocaine does not cause physical dependence. For example, these drugs cause physical dependence. A heroin addict will suffer from cramps. A heroin addict would suffer from nausea, vomiting, if he doesn't get the dosage. If he doesn't get the dosage, a heroin addict will suffer from physical as well as mental withdrawal symptoms. So here you have physical dependence as well as mental dependence. Cocaine does not cause physical dependence. It only creates mental dependence. Just a fact what I'm telling you. Cocaine is responsible for a sense of euphoria, calmness, peaceful. Listen to this. Opium also causes a sense of euphoria. Cocaine also causes a sense of euphoria. If they ask you out of the two, always choose cocaine. Under euphoria, always mark cocaine because this has a stronger effect on this sense. Is that clear? Opium is not that strong comparatively. So if they tell you to choose which drug causes euphoria, the answer would be cocaine. Always remember that. In heavy doses, cocaine also causes hallucinations. I've taught you last time, seeing things which are imaginary, that is hallucination. Mind you, cocaine would cause hallucinations only in heavy doses, not in normal doses. Whereas if you go to see these drugs, these would cause hallucinations even at a normal dose. Datura plant would cause hallucinations. The fruit of Datura would cause hallucinations even in a normal dose. Belladonna, Atropa belladonna, the seeds would cause hallucinations. Atropa belladonna seeds can cause hallucinations even in a smaller dose. Lysergic acid diethylamide, we learned last time, obtained from ergot fungus, would cause hallucinations even in a normal dose. So these categories I have kept them as hallucinogen. Cocaine I have not kept it as hallucinogen, but that doesn't mean it can't create these hallucinations. It will create hallucinations only in heavy doses, whereas these would cause hallucinogen at any given time. Belladonna, Datura, LSD would be common hallucinogen. Even in a smaller dose, they would cause these hallucinations. Cocaine would cause hallucinations even in a heavy dose. Another larger category of drug what we had learned, were the drugs which are obtained from the plant cannabis. You know, cannabis is called as the hemp plant. Cannabis is the hemp plant. Cannabis, we've learned, is the sativa, cannabis sativa species in America, and cannabis indica species which is found in us. I've told you this cannabis sativa is responsible for giving rise to different categories of plants. Here I have just summarized them together. The common substance in all of these drugs is the substance which is called as tetrahydrocannabinol. THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, is the common substance, the common compound which is present in all of these, and this is responsible for binding to the receptors of the brain, binding to the receptors of the central nervous system. This is responsible for I told you out of this, you know, bhang is something which is, you know, commonly abused even in religious festivals. We've learned in Holi also bhang is abused. So charas, bhang, ganja are the ones which come under cannabinoids. We had learned this category. I've told you this last time, mind you, ganja is nothing but marijuana. Ganja and marijuana is the same thing. In India we call it as ganja, abroad we call it as marijuana. So technically speaking, cannabis indica se liya, Indian species say if you take, you get ganja. Cannabis sativa if you take, then you get marijuana. It's nothing but the same thing. The compound is the same, tetrahydrocannabinol, THC. Under that, the cannabis plant, if you take the, you know, if you take the resin, if you take the liquid from the flowers of the female plant, then you get charas. Charas is obtained from the resin of the flowers of the female plant. If you take the leaves along with the shoots, flowering shoots, then you get something which is called as bhang. Bhang is obtained from leaf. It's basically a mixture of leaves of the cannabis plant along with the flowering shoots. Yeah, flowering shoots means the matured shoots basically. If I take the inflorescence along with dried leaves, I'll get ganja. And you know, this is basically your weed. This is the weed. The dried leaves are nothing but, and the flowering shoots, the inflorescence basically is nothing but ganja. These are the ones which are here, charas, bhang, ganja, which are the three categories which come under. So your common weed is basically this. We've learned this before. So the next category would be cannabinoids. These are the categories of drugs which come under cannabinoids. A drug which we learned last time about drugs which are abused by sports persons would be steroids. Mind you, in your NCERT you have a line that cannabinoids are also abused by sports person, but this is more abused by sports person not to increase their ability. It's more basically recreational. So, you know, out of the two, if they ask you which ones are abused by sports person, you will mark anabolic steroids. If this is not there, then you can mark cannabinoids. Cannabinoids are abused by sports person. Your NCERT mentions it, but that's not the main ones. If they ask you and if this is not there in the option, then you can mark cannabinoids. Anabolic steroids we learned last time are the ones which are basically responsible for increasing the anabolism. And anabolic steroids are basically responsible for increasing the muscle growth, increasing the performance. Anabolic steroids is used by sports people. It can create a lot of problems. If I say common problems between, if I don't, male, female common problems, one of the common problem which every sports person, male or female, will develop because of these steroids would be acne, would be closing down of the growth center. See, the testosterone hormone is basically responsible for causing bone ossification. Testosterone hormone is basically responsible for causing bone ossification. It causes stoppage the length of the bone from increasing. It prevents the bone length from increasing. That's the job of testosterone. And that is why you would find that once you reach puberty, after you've reached puberty, once you reach the adulthood, the bone length stops growing, your height stops growing because of testosterone causing bone ossification. And a person, if at a young stage will abuse that testosterone, bone ossification would occur at an early age, height will stop growing. So irrespective to male or female, the problems which will occur in steroid abuse would be acne, severe acne on the face, as well as stoppage of the growth center. There can be kidney damage, there can be liver damage because of the steroids. Specifically, if I have to talk about females, if they are abusing steroids as a sports person, they would suffer from masculinization. Masculinization means they'll start developing male-like features, because the steroids which are being abused are basically testosterone. So they'll develop aggressiveness, they'll develop acne again, they would develop hair growth, they would develop enlargement of the larynx causing thick voice. They would cause enlargement of an organ called as clitoris. Mind you, clitoris is the a female reproductive organ. We will elaborate on this discussion when we do the female reproductive system. But clitoris is comparable to the penis in the male. Enlarged clitoris is something which can develop in the female. We will talk about this organ or the female reproductive system. And presence of testosterone will obviously influence estrogen, progesterone hormones of the female. So irregular menses would be a problem in this. In males, you would find kidney disorder, liver function, as I have told you. But the biggest problem with a person who's abusing steroid would be the presence of an artificial testosterone causes the testes to stop functioning, because something we call as negative feedback. If there is a lot of testosterone which you are injecting already, if you are injecting the testosterone already, the testes will go into atrophy. They will shrink because according to feedback mechanism, they are not needed. See this line, accumulation of product stops the process. Accumulation of the product stops the process. If the product, that is testosterone, is so much there in the body in high quantity, the process of its natural production will stop. So the activity of the testes will reduce. If the activity of the testes will reduce, the blood flow to the testes will reduce. If the blood flow to the testes will reduce, overall testes undergo atrophy, degeneration. That's why it will lead to low sperm count. That's why it would lead to sterility in these males. So sterility, low sperm count, testicular atrophy, that is degeneration of the testes, is a common problem with these individuals will suffer. And this is because of something called as negative feedback. This is because of the presence of testosterone causing reduction in the activity of the testes. This is simply negative feedback. Mind you, then even if you stop the testosterone taking, if you stop the injections of testosterone, your testes have already undergone degeneration. That's why it will be a long-term effect. So these are the basic, side effects of the anabolic steroids, which we had not detailed it. I have detailed it in this lecture. These are the side effects of the anabolic steroids. So these are the categories of all the drugs what we have learned. So we can classify the drugs into opioids, which would include opium, morphine, heroin, brown sugar, and codeine found in your cough syrup. You have sedatives, which includes barbiturates and benzodiazepines. You have stimulants, which includes caffeine and amphetamine. Out of this, in your NCERT, there is a line: barbiturates, benzodiazepine, and amphetamines are used as medicines. Barbiturates, benzodiazepines, and amphetamines, NCERT as a line, are used as medicines. Out of this, these two are used as sedatives, and this is used as a stimulant for patients suffering from depression. One of the largest category of drug is cocaine. The full name is cocaine hydrochloride. It is nothing but an alkaloid obtained from the coca plant. I've told you there is no physical dependence. I've told you it creates euphoria, sense of well-being. It is responsible for causing hallucinations in heavy doses. You have to remember that. Cocaine interferes with dopamine, as we have discussed this before. Cannabinoids, the biggest another bigger category of drugs having a common substance, tetrahydrocannabinol, the substance which is responsible for binding to the receptors of the central nervous system, specifically binding to the receptors of the brain. You have charas, bhang, ganja, one obtained from the flowers, one obtained from the leaves and flowering shoots, one obtained from leaves as well as the inflorescence. Mind you, dried form. Ganja is dried form of leaves, and dried forms of the inflorescence, that is the flowers, will give you ganja, and it's obtained from the cannabis plant, that is the hemp plant. You have hallucinogens, which includes LSD. LSD is also very dangerous. Chromosomal damage. LSD can cause chromosomal damage, and that's why LSD can lead to genetic defects in the offspring. If you are taking the drug, your offspring may also suffer because of it. Belladonna, datura, both are plants which have hallucinogen properties. You have anabolic steroids, as we've learned, which will be basically done as performance enhancers, but have problems in males and females. This is basically the summary of the entire drugs. I want you to copy this entire chart for your reference.